Jerome, Wipeout, Wilson. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk to Bayloric TV. So for
You're
people who
welcome, no
don't know
problem.
who you are, just give us a little bit of background.
Okay, I'm a professional fighter from Sheffield, England. Turned pro in 2010. I've had a mixed career. It's been up and down. I've been inactive for quite a while, and then back on it again. So it's been up and down. I've had a change of trainers throughout my career. But it's been one that's not it's not been a perfect career. It's been a challenging one.
Okay.
Um,
So let's talk about what got you into boxing in the first place.
okay. Yeah, I've always been one for a challenge, and my friends were aware of that. So a group of my friends that lived around the area where the gym where I first joined, invited me to come along because they thought that I would enjoy it. So I thought, oh yeah, we'll see what this gym's about. We went to the boxing gym. At the time, it was run by a guy called David Caldwell and Chris Medley. Both them two had a group of fighters in there. It seemed very welcoming when I went in there, and I thought, yeah, seems all right. Thought it's a good atmosphere, good buzz. I love the music that's been playing, that were playing in the gym, and I fell in love with it instantly, more or less, when I was introduced to the groundwork, footwork, introduced to sparring, and the other side, all the sides of components comprised with regards to the boxing.
Yeah.
So basically, I just fell in love with it.
I mean, you are from the same world as Prince Nassim Hamed, Johnny Nelson, Kell Brook, Clinton Woods.
The Steel City.
The Steel City indeed. So a lot of greatness around you right there.
Yeah,
Did,
definitely.
did you know of any of those guys when you were, before you got into boxing, or was it something that
No,
inspired you?
not really. I wasn't really that much interested in boxing.
Okay.
So basically, I learned to love boxing.
Okay.
So at the start, I very rarely watched it. It was one of them things. I think I used to sit at the end of my mom's bed with my brother, and we used to watch. Was it Big Time?
Big Fight Live.
Big Fight Live. That's it. ITV. We used to watch that. There was Nigel Benn on there.
Chris Eubank,
And
Nigel
Chris
Benn.
Eubanks, yeah, them guys fighting, and I thought this is interesting. So I always enjoyed watching it when it was a fight on. I never turned over the TV channel. I was glued to it.
Right.
But I never felt never felt drawn to it to compete in it and
Okay.
train in that.
So how old were you when you first laced up your gloves and started to throw punches and get hit back?
16,
Okay.
16 years old. So I'm a quite late starter
Okay.
compared to a lot of other fighters that have been in the game.
What was the first experience like, getting hit on the chin and throwing your punch back? Because a lot of fighters I talk to, and they talk about the first experience, they get a bloodied nose, or they start seeing stars, or they
Yeah.
come back to the gym next week and they get mad and they fight better the next week. What was your experience like?
It's quite. I felt a lot of pressure actually because when I went in there, a lot of them felt like I had good ability and potential to do well in the sport. So I felt a bit of pressure. And when I did get hit, I felt a bit. I didn't know what to expect actually. I felt a bit. I don't know. Felt a bit nervous actually. I wanted to put up a good performance all the time, and I just felt pressured slightly.
Okay, but you were pressured, but you still went on with it though.
Of course. It's like I said, it's a challenge, and it's one of them challenges that I wanted to basically defeat.
Okay.
So even though I was a bit nervous, a bit apprehensive a little bit about it, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to stick with this, it's very challenging, and I want to do something with it.
So who was the first fighter that like caught your attention when you started actually boxing? I know you talked about the Big Fight Live, but obviously in Sheffield, who was the first guy? I thought, I like his style. I might copy that, or I like his style. I'll take a bit of that. Or was it just a case of, well, I'm Jerome Real, so I'm just gonna do my own thing?
But yeah, when I first went in there, I just thought, I didn't really have that much knowledge or history of the boxing.
Right.
Even though Sheffield had so many great fighters. So I just thought, you know what it is, I'm just going to do me when I'm in there. Move about a bit. Um, just focus on using my brain a little bit and just try to outbox people, counter them, use my movement, which I was good at doing at that point in time. And then I was introduced to some fighters that my trainer said that I would be good. It would be good for me to watch
Okay.
and give me some inspiration, which was Pernell Whitaker. There was Pernell Whitaker, Zab Judah, and Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
They're the kind of fighters that my trainer basically put forward to me and said, watch these guys. You've got that kind of style and ability to emulate that.
Wow. So from that point, did you have any amateur fights?
Nope. No, not at that point.
You
Not
had
at
no
that
amateur
point.
fights whatsoever. So just
So
decided
it
to
probably
turn pro.
towards 17 I had my first fight. Towards the 17, yeah.
What, as an amateur or as a pro?
As an amateur.
Oh, as an amateur. Oh, okay. So you did have an amateur career then.
Yeah, it was a very mixed career amateur-wise. I had
Okay.
about 25 fights, won about say 15 of them or so.
Yeah.
But there was many of them fights which I would say that I got robbed. But it's one of them things.
Amateur boxing
They
is
didn't like
like
my
that.
style. They didn't like my style. I like to move about a bit. They always used to say, keep your head up.
Yeah, yeah. The
Moving
amateur
about a
style
bit.
is like that. Absolutely. What's the biggest thing you could take away from amateur boxing?
From amateur boxing, I would probably say the pace of it. Knowing to, I don't know, basically just being confident in yourself to throw a barrage of punches, and do you know what I mean? Just be confident.
Okay.
I
So
draw
then,
a lot of confidence from it.
what made you? When did you think? Well, right, this is a time for me to turn pro. Was it your manager that said turn pro, or your trainer said turn pro, or what was it that inspired you to become a professional fighter?
I was actually I was traveling. I was studying. I've always been studying with my boxing. That's why it's basically put my career on hold a lot. And
Right.
I turned pro quite late. I turned pro at 25.
Right.
So when I finished my degree in leisure management, I went traveling for about 7 months or so. I was working on a cruise ship. And when I went there, when I was traveling, I had a lot of time to think to myself, and I thought to myself, where do I want to be in future? What do I want to do? I was thinking, do I want to be a manager of a company or anything like that? And I thought, you know what, that's not me. Not at this point in time. I want to just do something that I loved, which was the boxing. So when I was abroad, I contacted my old trainer, Dave, and I says, "Would you be interested in turning me pro?" Because I said I would like to come along and come back to your gym as you as my trainer, my manager and promoter. Would you be interested in that? And he said, "Yeah, no problem." So when I got back to the UK, I decided to link back up with Dave and then see where he's at. And
So
yeah.
the relationship between yourself and Dave, was it a good one when you were amateur and stuff like that? Was he very good with you? Was that the reason why you went back to him, or
It was mixed. It was mixed.
okay,
Yeah.
was it because of your approach to the game, or was it because Dave maybe wanted more from you and you couldn't give that more at the time, or what do you think? Why? What do you think the reasons were? Well, because it was mixed.
Do you know what? I have no idea. I have no idea. Part of it maybe is he believed that I should have given more.
Yeah.
At the point in time but I had lots of other things going on at the time, so boxing wasn't my priority.
Ah.
When it should have been at the time. But obviously, at that time I didn't know that is what I wanted to do at that point in time.
So you're still
I was just
searching.
thinking,
You
pardon?
were still soul searching. You didn't know quite what
Yeah,
you wanted to be doing.
that's it. That's
Right,
it. So I
right.
thought I was always told by my parents, you need something to fall back on. So
Yes.
it's like, yeah, you just need to be practical about things. And I had that drilled into me. So it was just one of them things. You must have your education behind you. You need them papers, and then once you've got that, then you can take chances, and then see where life takes you. Um, and that's what it were.
Absolutely. So you decided to turn pro,
Yeah,
and basically your career is in the hands of Dave Caldwell, correct?
yeah, it was at the start.
Okay, so then what happens? Your first pro
Uh,
fight.
First fight was against Johnny Greaves.
Okay.
Um, I trained like a madman for that fight actually. Very excited. It's the first time I had to sell tickets, for people to come and watch me, which I did find quite quite difficult at this to start off with. I didn't
Okay.
feel like I wanted to take people's money off him. You know what I mean? I wanted the support, but I was never one to say, "Oh, I'm fighting. Are you gonna come?" It's like I'm begging people to come, which I find I didn't enjoy. Never enjoyed that part of fighting.
But was that something that when you came into the sport of boxing or decided to turn pro, was that something you knew about beforehand, or was that a shock to the system when you actually closed the door and decided to be a pro?
Subconsciously, I probably knew about it, but I didn't think it was going to be that difficult because I knew quite a lot of people. I didn't think it was going to be that hard. So,
But you must have had a lot
I,
of friends around you and stuff. So
yeah, yeah. I know it's quite weird. I always had a lot of people saying, "Yeah, we're gonna come. Yeah, we'll come and support you. Yeah, we'll come." Then when time came, when they had to take the money out of the pocket, it's another story. Oh, I'm doing this.
I'm
I can't
brass, I
make
can't make
it.
it. Yeah, yeah. I know what.
Faithful, and I can understand that. I can understand that, but obviously, many people used to say, "Yeah, we're there, we're there, we're there." You used to get let down a lot, which that was a bit disheartening actually. But it's just how it is. It's life, isn't it? It's just what happens.
Wow.
Mm.
So you're aware of these things. You're aware of the people that say they're going to be there for you, and then they're not there for you. How does that impact your career moving forward? Then does that make you realize? Well, I know who my friends are, or you always knew who your friends were anyway.
I always knew who my friends were, but I was surprised by a few of them. But some of the, I don't hold a grudge against them. It's just if they could make it, good. If they didn't, it's fine. I wasn't too fussed about it. It's a very lonely sport. You know what I mean? It's a very
Yeah.
lonely place in that ring anyway. So it's me against another fighter. So having loads of people watching me didn't really bother me. It didn't bother me really.
Now, I know when I used to box, my mother wasn't keen on me boxing, and I'd always have her at the back of my mind when I was in the gym, hitting the bags and preparing for a fight. I always hear her voice, "Oh, you don't need to be boxing. You could be doing something else. One day this could happen. One day that could happen." And that's in my mind when I'm on the bag. And mothers have this way of turning up at the most strangest times and saying their things when you least want to hear it. You know, and giving you their words of wisdom. When you want their words of wisdom, kind of like it's kind of different. It's a different tone. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying here,
I
but
do
like,
understand what you're saying.
you know what
I
I mean?
do.
It's like
They're very
they
protective.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
yeah, and
they
that
want you to be safe.
yeah, that you know that because they love you and they gave birth to you, but at the same time, that overprotectiveness can kind of be a hindrance as well because you want to be free and you want to be a man and do those things, but they're still trying to look after you and stuff. How was your relationship with your mother in terms of for
Um,
boxing?
yeah, with regards to the boxing, she never liked me doing it. She never enjoyed watching me, but she did come to all of my fights bar one. Um, but she was always there to support, but she never did enjoy the fact that I was boxing and fighting another person in front of many people.
Okay,
The fact that the possibility of getting hurt. So she never did like enjoy that part of it. She always used to say, "Oh, I feel sick, this, that, and the other." when I'm going into a ring.
Did that
But
did that ever impact you though when you walk into the ring or?
not really, because I knew what I was getting myself into always.
Right.
So with that knowledge, it gives me a bit of. I was inside. I had that knowledge in my mind, so I knew what I was letting myself in for. Really.
Okay. All right. So moving forward, you're an unbeaten fighter. What happens when you lose your first fight?
I lost my first fight to Jay Morris. My fifth fight. Um, you know what? Everything just stood still. It felt like I was lost. Um, the support and things that people were saying to me beforehand, that stopped. Um, Ticket sales went down slightly. Um, it just, I don't know, it just makes you feel like you're not worthy of basically fighting when you've got that loss on your card.
Was
When
it was there anything you think you could have done better in that fight? Did you apply yourself the best you could?
No, there was a lot of things going on in my life at that point in time before that fight, leading up to that. Some that I don't really want to get into too deep, but it was very hurtful and things that were going on
Okay,
back at that
understand.
time beforehand. So
Okay.
I realized I shouldn't have been in that fight because I lost against a guy that I shouldn't have lost to.
Okay.
Without a doubt, I shouldn't have lost to him. But that's what it is. A lot of fighters will probably say something like that. But under my heart, I know for a fact I shouldn't have lost against that guy.
So,
But I did.
so was Dave still your trainer at that time, or was there any changes at that point?
No, I still stayed with Dave.
Cool.
So there was no changes. I only left Dave again. I mean, but again, the last three fights that I've had as a
Right. Okay.
professional boxer.
Okay. So when you had your first loss, what was the conversation between yourself and Dave like?
Ooh. I don't. Do you know what? I think he felt disappointed in me actually. A bit let down, deflated. Uh, but it seemed like he didn't really. He was bothered. He was bothered, but it seemed like I don't know. It's very, very weird. Very weird, actually. I don't know. I think he held more. He thought more was gonna happen in my career. Then when I got that lost, I think everything just stopped. All the praises and oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. This is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. That stopped. Um, it was just one of the things. Now it's just on to the next one and do better.
So, okay, so you have to come back from a loss now. You now don't have the mojo that you had before because you're an unbeaten fighter. People were tapping you on the back. The harsh realities were starting to hit home, and obviously you had things going on outside of the gym and outside of boxing in your personal life. So the next fight, what happens?
Yeah, I was told. Well, they've set me up a fight against Daniel. I think it was Milkov.
Okay,
Milkov, a guy from Malta.
right,
But he came over to fight me in Birmingham. It was
right,
another show of Dave's. So fought in Birmingham. At the time, it was stated that his record that it was making his debut, and then later on, I found out that he had two previous fights, won both of them, knocked out one of his opponents, but them fights were in Malta, so I don't know if they were regulated in the
right.
UK.
Okay,
So I was a bit put back about that. But anyway, I thought, yeah, it don't really matter. First time fighting out of Yorkshire, so I'm fighting in Birmingham now. So I'm thinking I've got another crowd of people. I don't have to sell any tickets. So there's people I don't know how they're gonna. Um, I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what to expect from that crowd of people.
right.
So anyway, I was basically blinking. I had my mind focused on winning, coming back with a good win against a decent opponent, which I did do. I fought well, totally outboxed him, won every round. Felt very comfortable. I wasn't going for no knockouts, but I just thought, you know what, I'll get the rounds in and totally dominate him, which I feel that I did do. and I felt he was better than Jay Morris actually. Um, so I thought I've got something to prove now, prove some doubters wrong.
And did that help?
Well, you know what? Not many people did see it though. Because I've never seen the fight back either. No one recorded it, so I've not had a chance to actually watch that fight back. I knew I did well, but I'm good for the fact that not many of my fans got to see it because obviously not a lot of people travel down to Birmingham to watch it,
Right.
besides my few family members.
Okay.
So there was no pressure on me at all, really.
So
But
you're back in the winnings. You're back on the top in terms of your mojo's back.
yeah.
You won your fight.
hmm
So it was onward and upward.
You would think so.
You
Yeah,
would think so.
that's it. It really didn't change anything, really.
Really?
No, it didn't change anything. Um, so it was just basically back in gym. I had a lot of other issues sorting out, so I had a lot of time. There was a lot of space between each fight, so I wasn't active enough.
Right.
So I wasn't getting enough. I wasn't getting as much fights, and it didn't help with my training. Um, I wasn't basically in the gym all the time. Yeah, I should have been.
Right. So your next fight, what happens after that?
Pardon?
The next fight, who did you fight next?
Next one after that. You know what? I want to say. You know what? It escapes me. I forgot the guy. I forgot the guy's name. There was Johnny Greaves,
There was a
Phil.
guy. Was a guy you? No, it wasn't. Okay. There's Sergi. There's a guy you fought twice.
The guy that I fought twice was Sergio Bomo.
Yes, the first
Yeah,
fight.
that's my last two fights.
Right. So and you said that you moved from Dave for your last three fights.
hmm
What was the reason? Did you feel you needed a change or?
No, I didn't feel like I needed the change. Basically, Dave was basically wasn't happy with training fighters anymore. He basically Curtis Woodhouse, who he was training, was no longer trained by Dave, so they've lost him. Then Ryan Rhodes handed up his gloves. So basically, at the meantime, he was only train at that point in time. Dave was only training a guy called Navman Suri and myself. So he just felt like he just wanted a break away from training fighters. So
Right.
then I was left with the predicament of finding another trainer. Um, I was based in Rotherham at the time. Um, I'm working full time. So I just thought, do you know what? I can train myself. That didn't work. That didn't go well. So then Nav introduced me to one of his old trainers, Ian Baines.
Right.
So we got on well. We had different methods of training
Okay.
and different training practices, which I felt a bit weird at the start, but I got into it, and it taught me something different, taught me
Right.
something new,
Okay.
which I enjoyed. But yeah, it was great.
So then the two fights, obviously, the first fight you had against what's the gentleman's name?
Billy Campbell.
Billy Campbell. The first fight you had against Billy Campbell. How do you feel the first fight went?
Well, the first fight when it was very challenging. It was I think it was 3-3. I think 1-3, lost 3. It was at a heavier weight, like I think it was welterweight actually that
Yes.
it was matched up at, which I am a light welterweight, but that we had to take the fight because I wanted to fight. He was very strong, but I countered his punches totally, and I boxed him. With training with Ian, he basically he helped input the work rate, helped me to improve my work rate when I was fighting basically, which made it more entertaining and more interesting to watch
Okay.
for fans.
Okay. And then you had the rematch.
No, I fought with Billy Campbell. He was the
Yes.
first fight I fought with Ian.
Okay.
And then after that, there was a fight with Serge Mbamo,
Okay.
which he was the third man. So third time
Okay.
unlucky, I should say. I should say.
So it was
I should
second
have
and third
fought.
fight.
Basically, for my second fight, I should have been fighting a guy called Samuel Mason.
Okay.
Then he pulled out due to a hand injury from a previous fight.
Right.
Then it was put forward that I should fight Junior Witter.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I accepted that fight also. And then close to the time, I think it was 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks before the scheduled fight that was going to happen, he pulled out due to injury also. So he didn't want the fight. So then, the 3 weeks, I had no fight. So Serge Mbama was put forward. Don't know by who, but basically his name got thrown into the mix. Obviously, he got me. So I accepted that as well to fight on the Sheffield show. Um, and the fight, I had no idea what it was about. I knew that it was a former Olympian from the last Olympics. So I thought he's not going to be a pushover. He's going to be a tough, durable guy. But I was confident in myself and my ability that I'll be able to beat him, even though if I didn't see much footage of him. But it turned out that the fight was going to be a very exciting fight for people to see. Many people that watched it said it was one of the best fights they've ever seen live. And some of these people have watched boxing for many years. And I knew the fight was very tough. It was very entertaining, and it was one of them fights where it was edgy seat stuff. A lot of people were standing up and cheering. I never experienced that kind of cheer from a crowd actually in one of my fights,
Wow.
and it felt great. It felt great. I knew I was in a proper fight, and I give a good account of myself. And so the Sergio was very strong. He had a massive head, the biggest head I've ever seen actually. Strong, tough, like hitting a wall.
Wow.
Yeah, but I had him down in the first round twice, but the referee didn't score the second knockdown for whatever reason, I don't know. So I thought, based on the first round, I thought I've got this. All I need to do now is to stick to the boxing, and that went out the window when he started absorbing my punches and coming forwards and letting his shots go. It just turned into a massive tear up, which is bad on my side because it's not how I normally fight.
Right.
I like to use my brain and use the ring well. I wasn't using the ring well at all. I just got involved with a brutal fight. Yeah, a terror. That's what it is.
Wow. So, the end of that fight, what are your thoughts?
At the end of that fight, I thought, I was unsatisfied with what happened and the result. I felt that the fight was much closer than what they said it was. I had myself winning it or the fight being a draw.
Right.
At least because I basically delivered the better blows, the cleaner work, for the better punches. So I had no idea that I wouldn't have said that I lost that fight. But in the referee's eyes, he scored it to Serge. So I can't argue with that, but I wasn't happy with that. And I wanted the rematch. I said it straight away. I said, you know what? I want this guy. I want this guy again. I said I felt the result was unjust.
Right.
So the fans enjoyed the fight. I thought, you know what? My body didn't enjoy the fight, but you know what it is? I want to get this on again. It's a proper fight. It's an entertaining fight. It'll get people to put bums on seats. So I thought, and it probably get us up there if I get this win. I thought, yeah, it's going to be shown on in front of a big audience. I thought, you know what it is? I can make a name for myself here. We'll have this fight again.
So you took the fight.
Yeah, of course.
And the first fight, was there anything after you had the first fight? Was there anything you felt differently about yourself? Did you, obviously it was a tear up. Did you, after fights, boxers can get injured, if
Mm.
depending if they, sometimes, ribs get broken and stuff like that. Did you feel any sort of, obviously that was a real tear up for you, so you would have taken more damage than usual in the fight. Was there anything different afterwards when you examined yourself? Did you?
Well, when I got back home,
Yeah,
I had my hoodie on, I
yeah.
had a t-shirt on, and then some trousers on. And when I laid down on the bed, I wasn't able to take them clothes off.
Wow.
I was not able to take them clothes off at all. I just felt stiff. I was in pain. I just thought, wow, that's that. I've never felt like this before after a fight. So I've never got damaged from a fight before, really.
Right, right, right,
Always
right,
been good at avoiding getting hit.
right.
This was the first time that I
Was on the
received
end of her.
close to the body
Yeah.
like that.
So did that when you were on the bed thinking that, did you make you want to go back and have more? Or do you have second thoughts about the fight game?
No, I didn't have second thoughts by it at all. It motivated, it inspired me to want more of it actually. It's weird saying that, but I felt a buzz, from the reaction of the crowd, at fighting someone that was very very good at what he did, um, and very strong. I wanted that challenge again to give me the hunger for it.
But why were
Um,
you why were you put
but
in the ring with an Olympian? I looked at that when I looked at the box rec, and why were you who put you in with that Olympian? I mean, clearly looking at that, was that really put in your favour to help you win and continue a winning career, or was that more of a stumbling block for you? Did it come too soon for you?
I would say definitely saw it came too soon for me because I didn't have a lot of experience. If I had more experience, I would have handled that much better with using my boxing ability and knowing not to get involved with a fighter like that. I
Yeah.
didn't have that experience to know that and adapt. I just thought it's eat at the moment, get into it and get involved, show that I'm stronger, show that I'm the better fighter, show that I can handle it. So basically now the experience that I should have had, which I didn't have against that kind of fighter, basically just destroyed my hopes of winning that fight.
And of course, the second fight,
Hmm.
for those who don't know,
Mm.
can you let people know?
Yeah, I can do. The second fight happened, I think, 3 or 4 months later in the same venue. It was on a big bill. First time Eddie Earn was gonna show it on his Fight Pass platform. So I thought, you know what, this is great exposure. Train hard for this, then this could lead me on to something much better. Um, but in that fight, I think I followed the same path as before, but I'm only going off what people said because I have no recollection of the fight whatsoever.
Right.
I only remember that I brought my daughter along with my partner and her family, and it was the first time that my daughter actually watched me fight live. Um, so I wanted to put on a good show for her, and basically that's all I remember. Seeing my daughter walking around the center, introducing my daughter to a lot of people, and warming up in the changing rooms, and that's all I remember of that fight. And what it is that basically was my last fight ever as a professional fighter, as I was knocked out in the last round, the sixth round. I think it was the last minute. I was knocked out unconscious. Um, and allegedly Sergio Momo leant over my body, kissed me on the forehead, and then stood up and then did the death sign as a celebration of victory, which, looking back on that, it's disgusting that he actually did that, and it's not sportsmanlike to do something like that. He wasn't real. He didn't really know. Even though he didn't notice that I was close to death and that I was dying at that point in time, because I from that blow of the punches that he threw and how I landed caused a bleed to the brain, which then in turn placed a lot of pressure in my brain and in my skull, which then I had to have brain surgery to repair the damage.
So now you're in a hospital bed.
Yep.
You're making progress. You're recovering slowly. What are the things? What are the things that first come to your mind as you are starting to recollect and start to get your senses?
Do you know what? That's a good question. Um, I had no first and foremost, I had no idea why I was there. Um, in that point in time when I was on the hospital bed, I had around about 9 weeks of a different reality. It seems weird talking about this, but I experienced something different. And when I came around, I was very unsettled. I was frightened because I thought something happened which didn't happen. Um, so I lived a different. It seems like I lived a different life. Can't go into in too much detail because I'll be talking forever. But I fought somebody else who's one of my friends, and he put me in that position after basically doing things I shouldn't have done, saying things I shouldn't have said, which led me to fight this other person. So I had no idea it was Serge who I fought.
Wow.
Which it's fascinating, but it's weird, very weird. So the memory of it is still in my mind, like I lived it. So to me, the mind is a weird thing. The mind is a weird thing. So when I was in the coma, I dreamt of a different that I was in a different reality. I was living a different life,
Wow.
but myself. Not many people know that, but I didn't want to come across as sounding mad.
Well,
But
how are you sounding mad? Is this your experience?
that is my
No,
experience.
and nobody has the right to deem you mad or stupid or anything like that. It's you.
Yeah,
This is real talk. You
I
know,
know.
the world today's got to a place where people being real and having emotions is silly. You know, and people are more artificial and fake more now than ever. So,
It's very superficial. I'm telling you, this place is a very superficial world. I'm telling, and I
absolutely,
see that now. It's
yeah.
taken this accident to see a lot of things which I didn't see before. My mind's open to a lot more, and my eyes see what's real and what isn't. Um, so just trying to decipher, just basically fathom, get them things and put them into perspective. I find it quite easy now, but earlier in the early days I didn't. I was when I woke up, I was apologizing to people because I thought I did things to them or said things to them
Which you
which
didn't.
which I didn't, and they were like, "Oh, looking at me, thinking, what am I talking about? What's he talking about?" And I'm thinking to myself, eh, "I've done this," and you say, "No, it's not a problem." Yeah, I'm thinking, is it because I'm in the hospital and I'm in the hospital bed and close to death that you're forgiving me? But
Clearly.
I don't know. I don't know. It's mad.
Whoa.
It is mad.
When did you realize you were getting the support that you were getting? Obviously, it was well publicized what happened to you. There was a lot of media attention on you.
Mm.
When was it that you came to reality that you were being supported by so many people across the country?
It was probably uh, with the concept of days because my mind was blanked. It was very fuzzy. But
Sure.
I'll probably say probably a week or so.
Right.
Uh, My brother was telling me about all these people that was doing things and donating things and doing this and that. And my answer to that was like, why? Why are they doing this for me? I was saying, tell them to stop. I would just, I'm not one. I'm always one for working for for what I've got. And I was saying that to people, and then people, I didn't know the severity and of my injuries at that
Right.
point in time. I was thinking I'll be working soon, I'll be doing this and I'll be doing that soon. But realistically, they knew that I wouldn't be. And still to this day I'm unable to. I'm recovering very well, but I put a front on a lot of it. I'm good at showing that I'm not hurt. And in boxing, I think that's one of the things that you do learn. You learn to hold things in and not show your fears and not show that you're hurt. And this injury, I've done a lot of that. It's not until now I'm more open in telling people how I am. No, a lot of people come to me and say, "How are you? Are you okay?" And I'll just say, "I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm just getting on with it," because I don't want to go into a big story about all sorts of things. Well, really, I'm hurting.
Of course you're
Um,
hurting. And you know,
mm,
I can tell you this much, that the pain that's inside, unless you're around people that you can share that pain with,
mm,
it eats you up. It eats you up.
definitely.
You know, and then with that pain, you also see what's going on outside in the world, and you see, like we talked about, the artificial stuff. You see the lies, the hypocrisies. It kind of, the pain, the internal pain, makes you look so deep inside your own self that when you open your eyes and you see that you're looking through different eyes, you're like, I can't believe what's going on. This is going on out here. Plus, I've got my own nonsense going on inside as well.
Yep. You
You
put
know?
things in perspective. It's just that is it. That is exactly what is. It's right. It is right.
And
It's
and
yeah.
then,
Things
and
happening, and
then
you think,
you've
wow.
got some people that are around you that just talk about things that just really don't matter.
Is that?
It doesn't matter. You know, oh, my friend didn't like a photo of mine on Facebook, or it
Yeah.
just really things, you know,
Real
and,
thing.
and they happen to be either friends of yours or people that you know and you're in close contact with, you can't get away from,
Yeah.
get in your ear talking, and you'll get yourself, I'm going through all this pain here, and you haven't got the sense to even turn to me and say, hey, I need help here. So how have you dealt with it all?
Do you know what it is? I've had good support from few of my family members, and they've helped me along the way.
Yeah.
And the fact that I've got my girlfriend was pregnant at the time,
Wow.
so I've got a son who's 7 weeks old.
Okay.
I've got a daughter as well and 3 stepkids,
Right.
and looking at each of them and knowing that they're around while I was in hospital helped keep me going.
Right.
It just give me a bit more purpose and more motivation to get right.
Yeah.
And that's what's helping me recover how I'm recovering, I believe. Strongly do believe that.
So, in terms of your recovery, what are you able to do? Because obviously, I don't know how your day-to-day life is. What can you do? What are you capable of doing? And what are you sort of incapable of doing? As much as your mind would want you to.
Yeah. My mind wants to do everything.
Right.
My body says otherwise. I'm
Right.
telling you. I'm very limited because I suffer from cognitive tiredness. So that's cognitive functions with speech. Some days I'll have good days, some days I'll have bad. So sometimes my speech will be quite slurred. Sometimes it'll be fast and it'll seem normal. I'll be tired a lot. So I'll be sleeping mostly throughout the day. Normally I have to rest a lot of time for a long period of time if I know I'm going to be doing something, or if I know I'm going somewhere. I've rested for a long time before to give me enough energy to do it, to go out and go to see some friends or speak to a few people.
Or to do an interview with me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've had debilitating headaches. I know.
Yeah, you were saying earlier.
It's like the headaches that you get it stops you in your track. It's
Right.
like someone's putting the hand in your brain and squeezing it, and it just stops you in your track. That pain, I've never felt that pain in my life, and it just stops you in your track. It just makes you feel like you just want to I don't know, you want to wish that pain away. You wish it'll go away, but you feel it's gonna stay there forever.
Right.
You don't know when it's gonna disappear. I can't do any exercise. I can't do anything I can't lift up any heavy objects due to the pressure. They don't want basically the doctors said they don't want me to have experience a lot of pressure in my head. So at the moment they've cut out a quarter of my skull, so
Right.
it's left me with like a large mass of my skull missing
Right.
from my head.
Right.
So right now I'm touching my brain more or less, or the fluid around it.
Wow.
It's quite weird. I
How
feel
does it make
like
you feel? Watching that stuff and seeing that stuff, how does it make you feel?
I feel vulnerable. I'm not myself. I'm not as strong. I'm always normally a strong person. I'm a motivator, one of them people that's happy go lucky, always doing something up early, here, there, and everywhere. And doing this, it feels like I'm trapped. I'm trapped in my own body. Can't do what I want to do, and it seems like I'm mourning here, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I've struggled a lot. I've had mad thoughts, done some stupid things, and it's just it's very
Frustration.
hard. It's very hard. It's very hard. So I would not wish this on my enemy. Their experience. You have to be strong mentally to deal with it, or have very good people around you supporting you. Because it's very hard to do this by yourself. You
Yeah.
still need to be strong to deal with it, but it's a very hard thing to deal with. Yeah, very hard.
What about the support outside the British Boxing Board of Control, the boxing license? What have the British Boxing Board of Control done to support you, who was giving something back to the sport? What have they done for you?
Um, Very little. I'd say, do you know what it is? The public are the ones to be thanked. I'm telling you, the public, the fans, all society, they're the real heroes. They're the people that have heart. They're the people that want want myself to do well and be supported. They're the real support really in all this. And I feel let down by the border control actually. What they did do in the early days, they dipped into the charity fund that they've got, and they sent me some money over to help support me through this time before Christmas, the Christmas period, and that's basically what they've done. They didn't give me no information on how I need to go about claiming compensation from the insurance or, sorting different things out. I was basically advised to do these different things and do it myself from other people. And then when I contacted them, I didn't find them very much. There wasn't that much helpful really. I sent messages to some of the head people, and I got replies back from them saying that their insurance policy only covers death or permanent injury. So it was like getting slapped in my face when I heard that. I'm like, I can never fight again. I come close to death, and now you tell me that I don't have a permanent injury, and they've not even looked at any of my medical records for starters to even make that impression. All they've received um, is messages that I'm recovering very well. I am recovering. I'm fortunate enough that I have recovered well because I've seen many people that have had the same injury as myself that can't walk, that can't talk, that have visual problems. I've had them problems at the start, but my body's overcome it. It's given me the strength. My body's recovered from them kind of ailments, and I'm still in recovery. But I have many, many, many problems that I just hide. And I
Well, it's
just
not.
get on with it.
But it's not helping you though, Jerome, is it? I mean, hiding it's not helping it, helping your situation at all, is it? Let's be honest.
No, no,
Because
it's
what
not.
ends up happening is they turn it on you and say, "Ah, he's all right. Look, he's fine. He's okay."
Yeah.
See, and it makes the situation with them think, well, they don't, accountability. If he's fine, he's all right. Not accountable. These people are very quick. If it was the other way around, and it was you now that they would find a way of getting compensation out of you. If it was on the other foot, you know that, don't you?
They take my money. If I didn't give them my money to fight, I
Okay,
wouldn't be fighting with her. They wouldn't
that's my
allow it.
point. That's my point.
So
So I mean, what happens now with you in terms of legally, your legal situation? Is anyone helping with you with that?
Um, yeah, I'm not gonna sit back and take it. Like I said, I've always been a fighter. So if they want to fight and there's something that's gonna happen, I'm gonna find a way to get more information about the policy first and foremost. See what the policy says, because I've not even seen the policy. So I've not been. I've had to found out who the board deal with for the insurance purposes,
Yeah.
and I've requested the policy
Right.
on what each fighter is covered
Right.
for entering in, well, when entering in the ring.
Right.
See what that says, then I'll take it further.
I think
Um,
you're
because I can't be getting mugged off.
no, absolutely not. I think you are a story that will inspire others, many others, not just in the UK but worldwide. Because it's all well and good for people to sit down, put bums in seats, and watch fighters go blow for blow, and but then afterwards, when something does happen to that fighter, people kind of turn a blind eye, and
It's a, it's a dirty side of boxing, that
and
very
the organisations need to do something about it. They really do.
definitely. I thought they would. That's why I'm so surprised. I played a lot of. I thought the British Border Control was very respectful, and I thought they cared. I thought that they would do what was ever in their power to help and support their fighters, that pay their fees each time, that risk their lives when they're going in the ring. I thought, to put on a good show for the crowd, and hopefully further my own career.
Right.
But obviously, I think this. I don't know. I can't really say too much about it, but I can say I feel a bit let down. Really, very much let down by that.
So, in terms of you getting your message across, I know you're doing the interview with us, which we really appreciate. What else are you doing to get your message across, Jerome?
Yeah, which will be quite powerful. Is as I was saying, when I was able to in hospital. I wrote a day-to-day diary about my experiences when I was in hospital, as some of the doctors recommended that as a good exercise from my mind.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's great advice from them. I started writing that down, and then when I was also able to, I started writing statuses on my Facebook, using social media. Then people caught up on it, saying, "Oh, that'd be interesting if you could put that into a book. I'd read it. I'd get this. I'd get that." It'd be very inspirational to see how you're coping with things, what you've been through, making people understand it. And then a writer caught wind of it, and then he put his name forward, and he said that he would be interested. He says, "Oh, could we exchange details, and then we could talk about this much further, see how we could develop this into your story into a book." So then it just spiraled from there. Just went on from there, and then he got in contact with the publishers, and they were highly interested in the book and the story. So now that's led me into it. Now we're working on my autobiography with my my diary, my recovery diary included in that,
Wow.
which is very in depth, and it breaks down my career, my ups and downs. It talks about the troubles and all the things that I've gone off, and it talks about the actual boxing setup and how people are treated in the sport from early on to when they end, when they leave the career. I think it's very in depth. It's very eye opening. Talk
Wow.
about a lot of. I've been very open in it, and real. And some people frown upon it. Some people hate it. Some people may love it. It's gonna be one of the things where it's gonna be true. There's no lies in there. It's just gonna be how it is. I'm just gonna keep it real. Not gonna be superficial about anything. It's gonna say how it is. And we're calling the book "Wiped Out" with a question mark. So the question is, am I wiped out, or am I gonna carve a new life from this tragedy? Am I gonna do something different? So everything's uncertain at the moment, like I said, but we'll just see. Because I've still got another operation to undergo, where they're gonna put a titanium plate in my skull to reshape, give me my shape back on my head, and give the protection back to my brain, which I
Right.
don't have at the moment because I'm walking around with a jockey cap, I call it. It's a reinforced cap that basically gives my head protection. So when I'm out and about on street, just in case if anything dropped on me or if I had a seizure, for example, I've got protection because I did have a seizure before the initial operation, so I'm at risk of developing epilepsy.
Wow.
So I'm on epilepsy tablets at the moment, which I take daily as like a preventive measure of having a seizure. So I've got that fear in my head that could happen at any time. Uh, Hopefully it doesn't happen, but the reality of it all, it could happen, and I live with that every single day. It feels me when I hold my son. I hold my son. I'm thinking, could it happen when I'm playing with kids or when I'm holding my son? Could it happen there? It could do. It could do. But I just have to make sure I'm very um, aware of certain things, where I'm at, and making sure people will be safe around me, which is something I have to think about all the time, all the time. But it's tough.
If there was one message you could give to any young aspiring boxer,
Yeah,
what would you tell them?
I would tell them to know everything involved with the sport, the setup of it, review all contracts, just basically be wise, have something to fall back on still. Don't take everything at face value, because everyone is good at speaking. Don't just listen to everything what people says to you just because it sounds good at the time. Research and research deeply into it and make sure it is kosher. And just have belief in yourself and try your best, train hard, and do what needs to be done to be the best, basically. Don't listen to any negativity. Just be positive all the time. And I'll say believe. Just have that belief in yourself that you can do it. Because obviously there'll always be people out there doubting you, talking bad about you. There'll be people saying, "Oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You can't do." You know what I mean? You'll have them people. Don't listen to that. Just believe in yourself. And that's what I would say. But have the knowledge. Have the knowledge of everything. Don't be taken for a mug, and just basically just be aware of everything.
Jerome Wilson. Jerome Wipeout Wilson. Thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
It's been a pleasure, man.
It's been an absolute pleasure too, and I'm
Do me a
inspired.
favor. Some of the things that I've said,
Yeah, you
yeah, they have
inspired
come
me.
across a bit slurred sometimes. Yeah, but my mind's not working as well it should.
No,
So,
you've been an inspiration, and you've articulated yourself very well. So
thank you.
proud of you, man.
I have to keep it going. I have to
Absolutely.
keep it going.
We're
I have
gonna
to do that.
we're gonna keep in touch with you and see how the book's going on. And thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks a
You
lot.
take it easy.
You take
Peace.
care.
All
All the
right,
best.
take it easy.
You too. Bye bye.
All right, bye.